Welcome to the Community Difference Plano. Powered by the Difference Media LLC. And hosted by Nathan Smith with Enfuego Financial. And sponsored by Home Smart Stars. PBJ Mortgage. Gaston Investments. Jim Thomas, Business Consulting and Funding. Diane Castle with Castle to Castle. Traci Duff with Assisted Living Locators. Asia Mahmood with Windhaven Academy. And by Lauren Gill with My Live, Love, Travel.
The Community Difference Plano was created to serve as a platform for local leaders and business professionals to showcase their expertise, values, and commitment to their community. Overall, the podcast aims to create a stronger sense of community in North Texas by highlighting the often overlooked or unnoticed good work being done by local leaders, businesses, and professionals.
So sit back and relax as our host, co-host, and their guests share inspirational stories, experiences, thoughts and insights about being a professional along with the opportunities for our businesses to serve our communities in very special ways. Because the Community Difference Plano starts now.
Good morning. Welcome to the Community Difference Plano, a podcast firmly rooted at the intersection of business development and community involvement. I'm your host, Nathan Smith, with the Enfuego Group, where we empower individuals to live life on fire and coach aspiring entrepreneurs on how to fire their boss. We are dedicated to inspiring and igniting ambition. Today we have a phenomenal show lined up for you. We just kicked off a new month last month, which means a new topic. We had a great discussion last week. We'll continue that throughout the month as we explore the role of innovation and creativity in driving growth and success for local businesses. We're going to dive into that theme in the third segment, but we'll dive in right now to welcome our wonderful co-host of the week. Let's bring them on, Lyndon. We've got the great Jacqueline Crider and Traci Duff. Good morning, ladies. How are you doing today?
Good, Nathan.
Awesome. Jack's with PBJ Mortgage. What do you say? It's as simple as peanut butter and jelly? Is that the?
Yeah,
is
we're
that
making mortgage simple. As simple as making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? What could be easier than that?
Only a peanut butter sandwich. That would be easier, but still.
There you go.
But then it would taste terrible, so you wouldn't want to do that anyways. How was your?
For your mouth.
That's true. How was your weekend?
It was really, really good, and I got to spend some time with the family on the eclipse thing. I know we're going to talk about that later, but yeah, so it was a good time.
And we've got Miss Traci Duff with Assisted Living Locators, with the lovely background of the great state of Texas always overhead. What's new with you?
All good. Very, very busy this week. I'm in a planning mode. Me and a couple of other referral partners are throwing a senior ball for our senior elder folks, and that's coming up in June. So we're in big planning mode right now. So
okay, well, we can maybe hear more about that in a little bit. Now we do have. I know Jax, you're going to the. Are you planning on going to the Frisco Fighters game this Saturday? Not Friday, but Saturday this week. Okay, is it your first time?
It is, and I'm really excited. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun, right?
It's a great, yeah. So you're bringing your son?
My daughter.
Okay.
2.5-year-old. Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, that may be.
She'll be excited. She likes all things sports related, like all kinds of balls. So.
Well, you have a good chance of actually. So what's cool about arena ball is that when the balls go into the stands, you get to keep them.
Oh,
so
nice.
If you sit like where our seats are, they're at the bowl, the end zones. And so if you sit behind the field goal, a lot of balls actually come into there's kids down there all the time. So maybe watch out that they don't hit her in the face, but still pretty cool. Pretty cool.
That's awesome.
I went with my 4-year-old a couple weeks ago. We made it to halftime, and he liked it, but she's kind of long.
Yeah. Well,
she'll probably nap, or she'll either fall asleep or run around, one or the other. So it'll be good. Yeah, so we've got tickets to all the home games for the rest of the season through July. Great partnership with the Frisco Fighters. We're grateful for that, and also just to be able to come come out there and meet new people and bring some of our sponsors and co-hosts and just have a great time. So we'll also be doing something similar this coming starting June 1st, I believe, at the Mesquite Rodeo, the Mesquite Championship Rodeo, obviously in Mesquite, Texas. And for those of you that don't know, it's one of the largest rodeos in the world. So it's up there with Calgary and Cheyenne and all those. I think I'm listing other big rodeos. I'm not a big rodeo guy, so you probably can tell. But I have been once, and it was a long time ago, and I can't wait to go again. So love these great partnerships. We're going to be trying to grow those partnerships. Oh, Diane Castle will be joining you at the game.
Woohoo!
Nice.
That's awesome.
I was going to say,
That's
and
awesome.
if you guys have never, ever been to the Mesquite Rodeo, it is such a cool experience. It is the most Texas-ish thing you could ever experience.
Texas, yeah, I mean, really, for sure. Well,
other states do stuff like that too, but like I feel like the the cowboy type stuff and the animals, like I just feel like that's Texas. Like,
oh, for sure.
When other countries think of Texas, that's what they think of, the rodeo. Or
they think of the stockyards in Fort Worth, which is funny because you really do see people riding horses down.
Yeah.
What's the main drag through the stockyards? I can't remember, but anyways,
I can't remember either. But yeah, they drive like all the big longhorns like through the street.
The cattle drive, yeah, it's pretty amazing. I'm like, this is not actually how Dallas is, but
Right.
but everyone's like, oh, it's true. It's very true.
If you go to Europe, they're like, hey, do you guys ride horses to school? And we're like, no, definitely not.
I kind of wish it was. Well, let's bring on our guest today. We've got some great guests with StreetFair. Let's welcome Blake Pierce to the show. Blake, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Happy to be here. Thank you.
How are you today?
Oh, excellent.
Now you grew up in Kansas City and you moved to Plano. Or you're actually in Plano, right?
Yeah. I did grow up in Kansas City. Kind of make a long story short here. I was in North Carolina before this, so just moved here at the end of last year.
I love that. And so your business, StreetFair, is just kind of starting in this area. Just give us a quick 30 seconds to whet the appetite of what we'll talk about a little bit later in the show.
Sure. It's a hyper-localized marketplace for home maintenance services down to your neighborhood level. We mean like your specific subdivision. It's like a way better version than your neighborhood Facebook page or your Nextdoor page without all the noise. And it's just for booking your electricians, plumbers, tree services based on who your neighbors use and trust, and when those businesses have scheduled upcoming services happening in your neighborhood.
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
That's really cool. I love that. All right, so we're going to try this again. We're going to try Miss Joanna Lam with Project Beauty. We had her on a couple weeks ago. The entire internet in her area crashed out. It made us so sad. We're like, we have to have her back on.
Absolutely.
I think you're on mute, Joe, but we'll bring her on and say good morning to you. There we go.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me again.
Good. Well, I feel like this is going to be it's going to go better today.
Absolutely. I feel that too.
And you're the founder and CEO of
guys.
That's right. You're the founder and CEO of Project Beauty, nonprofit organization dedicated to helping survivors heal and thrive through transforming beauty and self-care programs. That sounds fantastic. How did you get involved there?
Well, I actually was a survivor myself. So I lived at a shelter and been through that experience. So I felt like my pain became my purpose. And now I want to help other women heal.
That is absolutely amazing. Can't wait to hear more of that in our fourth segment. And also, let's bring in Steve Perry. Steve Perry is a guest of Traci. I'm looking at you. I couldn't say her name. Oh gosh, sorry about that, Steve. I can read. I promise. Steve, the owner of Golden Tickets from over 35 years. The first time I heard that, all I could think of was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I don't know if that's where you got it from, but I was like, I can't wait to talk to Steve. How are you doing today, Steve?
Great. Yeah, when we formed it back in '88, we did name it after Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And believe it or not, I have one of the original Golden Tickets and an autograph by all the players in the original movie. A picture,
really,
autographed by all of them. So we were pretty serious about the Golden Ticket thing.
That is awesome. So how did you get into the ticketing business?
My business partner and I actually we got to be good friends, And we were just friends at the time, but both really liking sports. He liked I played hockey for 50 years, so I've always been a big fan of sports. And he inadvertently was a bartender at a TGI Fridays, and some gal kept coming in, and she was actually operating, reselling tickets in the secondary market. And I was gainfully employed with a Fortune 500 company, as was my wife, in a local restaurant. Used to be Fishmongers way back in the day. And so we still miss it, seeing how they retired about a year ago. But anyway, my wife and I started to help out at the Orange Bowl and helped out at the Rose Bowl. And we said, we could really do this for a living.
That's amazing.
So we took a loan against my sailboat, and it's been 36 years now. All teams, all sports. Actually, this is the first Masters I'm not working at because that's going on as we speak. But I had some things going on here, so I have several of my people out there in Augusta, but surprisingly, I'm not there.
Well, I can't wait to hear more about that. That's fantastic. Well, we're going to go to break. Diane Castle also wants to tell you hi. She just popped in the comments, Steve. I know you guys connected at the Plano Chamber a long time ago. So we'll go to break. When we come back, we're going to figure out what the heck is going on in Plano. Stick around on the Community Difference Plano. We'll be right back.
The Community Difference Plano is made possible by Nathan Smith with Enfuego Financial, Diane Castle with Castle to Castle, connecting charities to fundraising solutions, Jim Thomas, business consultant and business funding expert, Brenda Thompson with Home Smart Stars, Sonia Lowry with Gaston Investments and Development, Traci Duff with Assisted Living Locators, Asiya Mahmood with Windhaven Academy, Lauren Gill with My Live Love Travel, and by Jacqueline Crider with PBJ Mortgage. The Community Difference Plano. Together, we can make the difference. And now, back to the show.
Are you ready?
Because it's time for
What's Up Plano?
What's up, Plano? It is time exactly for that, to figure out what is going on. A lot of exciting events in the area, things that are happening. We had the privilege last week of having Michelle Hawkins with the Downtown Plano group. She actually runs that through the city. We're going to get a chance to follow up with her. I'm going to lunch with her tomorrow, so looking forward to that, and just having some resources to keep everyone apprised of all the exciting things that are happening in our wonderful city of excellence, the Great Plano, Texas. But first, we'll start with Traci. Traci, you got a couple of things happening that we need to know about, so you take it away.
Yeah, the first one's an ongoing thing, and a lot of the local Plano folks will remember it. They've brought it back again. It's a sip and shop downtown, and I think it's every third Thursday. The stores stay open later. They have wine samplings. They have art exhibits out. You kind of sip and shop. There's music. So that goes on through the summer, I believe. I think through July. And the other one that I saw that's really cool, it's a scavenger hunt. They do this all over the United States, but in Plano, you start at the 1418 Coffee House, and they give you electronically your mission of all the things that you have to go find. And then the guide remotely, he's live, and he guides you of where you're supposed to go and gives you hints along the way, kind of like a moving escape room, I guess, but scavenger hunt. And that goes on multiple dates. It's on the Eventbrite. It's on the Visit Plano website and everything, but go check it out. That looks really cool. Indoors, outdoors, families, pets, all kinds of fun stuff. And it's like $25, I think. And it's about a 2.5 hour kind of event. It sounds neat. I want to try it.
So when we were talking about it in the pre-show, it sounded like something I wouldn't be interested in. And then as you're talking about it more, I'm like, this sounds, well, the sip and shop, and now it's definitely the scavenger hunt, because I do like scavenger hunts.
Yeah,
so.
They say in the scavenger hunt, you'll go to the historic areas.
Well, that's definitely me. I'm a history guy. So
Haggard Park, and different things like that.
You should report live from the sip and shop, and then I'll report live from the scavenger hunt.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
And we'll see what happens.
Traci, I'll join you at Sip and Shop.
I figured you would.
Plus, I was gonna say, plus my mom's store is down there, so we can go spend some money. I spend all my money there anyway, so
we'll go see Mom, and we'll take her with us.
Every time I go down there to try to see your mom, she's off somewhere doing something else. I can never. I've been there 5 times.
So busy.
I know.
Well, because, she does a lot of interior design work outside of the shop. So
well, sure.
Has great stuff, but she's not always there.
Well, Steve, talk to us. I know you've got some exciting things coming on. We're glad to have you as a guest, but we also want to share some exciting events coming up in Plano as well.
Yeah, that's just coming up in the next several days over at the American Legion here in Plano downtown, post 321. The riders, which I'm a part of, the motorcycle guys that get together and ride around the state, as it were. But we're having a breakfast for all the firemen and the policemen here in town. Going on all morning, kind of a first responders breakfast that we're putting on at the Legion. And my Rotary Club that I've been a Rotarian for 35 plus years. And we're having our annual fundraiser, which is a pickleball tournament on the 20th. And that's over at the High Point Tennis Center.
I know right where that is. Yeah.
You playing, Steve? Gotta
what's
know.
That?
Are you playing pickleball?
No, but I do know a whole lot of them. I'm more of a hockey kind of guy.
Yeah,
I think I may be forced into playing, but I haven't yet.
How about those Dallas Stars?
Oh, I'm excited. They're looking awesome. Another great win they just had, and I think they're poised to be better than they have been recently. And they've done some good things, but I think they're way more powerful and able to score more than they have recently. So I'm excited about them making a big run.
Delisa, looks like Delisa's going to join us. She's the host of the Rockwell. She's going to join us at the scavenger hunt. Real quick, Steve, tell us, for those that don't know, tell us what the American Legion is. I know a lot of people may have heard that, but they don't really know what it is.
They're mostly, obviously, it can be active servicemen in American Legion also, but mostly it is all the retired veterans and are doing good things all the time, helping those that are in need. But also giving a place to meet. They have a center there that can be rented out for different functions and weddings and whatnot. So, and a lot of the legions all help each other around the state. So I've been a part of that for a very long time, and it's a real great group of people. And you got to support the veterans.
I agree. If we can talk after the show, I'd love to connect with somebody else that's there and have maybe the president or whoever is on and come on the show sometime and talk with us, because that'd be awesome to get to know those guys. So, Jack, you got a couple of exciting things. Talk to us.
Yes. So hold on. Let me see if I can share my screen, because I know that there's a little pickleball thing going on. So pickleball is a popular thing, guys. That's happening a lot right now. And on my actual birthday, which is April 27th, I don't know if you guys can see that, there is a pickleball tournament that is happening at the courts of McKinney. This is to support the greatness of Carson's Crusaders, which our own Diane Castle. She also supports Carson's Crusaders. So definitely check it out. Go ahead and join. There's a QR code right there. It's like a $5 entry fee, but it obviously goes to help Carson's Crusaders. So that's a huge and amazing charity, and they do lots of great things. And so we definitely think you should check it out. Unfortunately, I'll be out of town, or I'd be there myself. So
you're just afraid of getting beat at pickleball. You know that's what.
I know. Well, guys, I'm like the least sports inclined person ever. I like to watch them, but I cannot participate. I just don't do well. I mean, I was tiny my whole life, and balls just always were flying at my head. So
I would like to add one thing on this that I have learned about pickleball, having our second event. There's a lot of people I know that I consider them the last people on the planet to do any kind of sport, and they play pickleball. And it's all ages, and a lot of retired people are embracing it like an addiction, really. But I will say it is very, very easy to play versus tennis in itself. Way easier. The rules are simple. And I'm amazed at how many people that I never thought they'd ever do any kind of sport that are really enjoying it.
Joe or Blake, do you guys play pickleball? Have y'all?
I dabble a little bit with my friends, but I'm not a pro by any means.
I've played a few times, but sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was going to see if it made it up to Charlotte before you left, or just you're here.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's very popular out there. Thing, there's new bar complexes, entertainment spaces that are all like optimized only for pickleball. Yeah, I played a few times personally. Not my thing, but more power to all those who do play. It is fun.
What sport? What sport do you prefer, or did you play?
I spent quite a bit of time in Florida, and there I actually fell in love with playing competitive beach volleyball. So
okay, now we're
that's really my thing.
That was like 2005 to 2010 for me. Like, not competitive, but just love beach volleyball. I played with some competitive people, but like the AVP players. That's where I learned how good I wasn't, but I did get better.
Yes.
So,
it's humbling.
It was fun, but it's a lot of fun. Well, last thing here, and I want to share a couple of pictures from this weekend's events. But and speaking of, Diane Castle's been mentioned like 5 times today. She's not even on the show, but she's watching. We know that. It's the power of being a co-host, right? Everybody talks about you. Event called Choose Love this Friday night. I'll be there. Traci will be there. Diane will be there. It's at 5508 West Plano Parkway in Plano, Texas. Reach out to us. I'll put the link when we reshare the show link afterwards. Say we'll put the event in there, but it's $10. It's called Choose Love. The event will support school initiatives that encourages role models and encourages students to assume goodness in others. It challenges us to be accepting of one another. There's no other agenda but just to help people love and just to see the value in people. There's going to be music, storytelling, just a phenomenal evening of talented artists, and a great opportunity to network and meet some really cool people. If you came to our lunch and learn back in February, you would have noticed that it was the same office. So same location. It's 5508 West Plano Parkway. And then this past Sunday night, so the eclipse on Monday around 1:40ish. The Sunday night before, they shut down downtown Plano on the basically 15th Street, and they showed some crazy. They had an eclipse party. Michelle Hawkins shared this with us last night. Just want to pop up a couple of images from that party, if you have those handy. So apparently eclipse parties, just weird stuff happens. So they hired all these weird artists and musicians, and weird is a compliment, by the way. Don't nobody take offense to that. So just a couple of crazy musicians and street performers, everyone was out in the street. All the bars and restaurants and shops were open late. There's a person playing a violin inside of an air bubble, which I thought was pretty cool. The music was great. It was a really cool time. And then, of course, it led up to the clips on Monday. I'd like to hear everybody. It's got a couple minutes before we break, but I'd like to hear. Here's a guy that's a Canadian flag and a British flag. I don't know what that was, but it was interesting. But I do want to jump real quick back to Jo and let her share about. She's got an event for Project Beauty coming up, and then we'll wrap up with some eclipse talk in just a moment.
Yeah, so I just want to share that starting on Sunday, April the 14th, we're opening up our nomination process for a Mother's Day giveaway that we're doing. So it's open to the city of Plano as well. We want to make mothers, especially single mothers, feel special this Mother's Day. Asking for the community to nominate a phenomenal single mother that they know, and they can win a full makeover, a shopping spree, and a full photography session sponsored by JCPenney. So if you know someone in the community that can use a pick-me-up, a makeover, be sure to go to our website and fill out that form starting on Sunday the 14th.
And give us your website.
www.theprojectbeauty.org.
Project Beauty. Okay, perfect. And I think it's probably scrolling across the bottom here in just a moment. So real quick, we're going to go to break in just a minute. Everybody just give me kind of your favorite thing about the eclipse. Did it surprise you? Was it what you expected? We'll start with you, Jax.
It was a lot of fun. I was actually in downtown Plano, kind of like right there where that eclipse party was happening, but obviously like the next day. And I was super concerned and worried that we were going to have a problem with the clouds, right? Because they kept coming in and out, but we still were able to see it, and it was a lot
worked
of
out.
fun.
It worked out perfectly.
The bad part was we took my 2-year-old out of school. She did not want to put on glasses at all, so I had to keep covering up her eyes because she kept trying to look up, and I was like, and then she was crying. So the little drama with the eclipse, so that's okay. That's all
My
right.
wife and my kids did their eclipsing inside the house because she was afraid of that exact thing. Blake, do you have kids?
Nope, I
Nope.
don't. But we made a big weekend out of it. Had parents and family all come into town for it as a big excuse. I had this on the calendar for months. So we had, quite frankly, a big party for the whole day and event, and
That's
it was
cool.
just awe-inspiring, incredible. I am considering becoming an eclipse chaser now.
Yeah, I made fun of people for like traveling from Asia to come over here, and now I feel bad. I really do, because I understand it's pretty awesome. So it was neat. Lyndon, I know you had what was your thought of the total eclipse? It never gets old. It never gets old.
Oh my
It never
I
gets
just got
old.
that. Like I literally had to take a minute.
You're like, why is he showing a car? That's funny. All right, guys, we're going to go to break. During this break, if you're listening, you should probably go to the Community Difference Plano Facebook page and join that group. You're going to be surrounded by some phenomenal, not only citizens, but business owners. You're going to be able to network there and find out all the things that are happening with the Community Difference. The Community Difference Plano Facebook group. Do that during the break. We'll be right back. We'll dive into our topic, which is the role of innovation and creativity in driving growth and success for our local businesses. Stick around. We'll be right back.
And now a word from a few of our amazing sponsors that make the Difference Radio, live stream, and podcast network possible.
Are you searching for fast, reliable, and affordable heating and air solutions in the Wiley, Sac C, Murphy, Garland, Rowlett, Levon, Richardson, Plano, and Allen areas of Texas? Then look no further than Martin Heating and Air LLC. With over 15 years of experience, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch service tailored to your specific needs. Don't let a broken HVAC unit ruin your comfort. Call us today at 469-380-9864 or visit our website to schedule an appointment. Martin Heating and Air LLC, your trusted partner for all your heating and air conditioning needs.
JP Direct Health offers affordable health insurance solutions for individuals, families, and small businesses specializing in custom coverages to fit your needs and budget. JP Direct Health offers comprehensive benefits, including PPO health plans, accident and critical illness coverage, dental and vision, health matching accounts, along with telehealth at no cost per call. Call JP Direct Health today to learn more about how we can help you protect your health and your budget.
Do you want your home or office to sparkle? Then call Elite Diamond Cleaning today. From basic cleaning to deep cleaning, and using only the highest quality cleaning products and equipment, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Our team of experienced cleaners will work quickly and efficiently to clean every nook and cranny, taking care of all the details so you don't have to. With a variety of pricing options to fit any budget, you can be sure that you are getting the best possible price. Call Elite Diamond Cleaning today at 214-300-9876 to schedule a free estimate. Your home and office is a diamond. Let us get it out of the dust.
Frisco Fighters prepare to reach new heights at Comerica Center this spring. From competitive matchups to exciting theme nights, you won't want to miss a second of the action. Join us and experience high-scoring, hard-hitting indoor football that's fun for the whole family to enjoy. Visit FriscoFighters.com for game highlights, tickets, or to reserve your spot at the Tarmac Tailgate Party. Frisco Fighters, fly with us.
Are you looking to buy a home? The process can be daunting, but it doesn't have to be. With the help of a qualified loan officer like Paul Fisher, you can get the financing you need and get into your dream home. Paul Fisher, a direct local lender with Certainty Home Lending, has many years of experience helping people buy homes. He's knowledgeable, experienced, and he'll work with you to find the best loan for your needs. Contact Paul Fisher today to get started on your home buying journey. He'll help you every step of the way, so you can relax and focus on finding your dream home. Visit www.loansbyfisher.com or call 817-308-7361 to schedule a consultation with Paul. MLS number 2018111.
Now back to the show.
Welcome back. We're going to jump right in here with our topic of the month, the role of innovation and creativity in driving growth and success for local businesses. Innovation is obviously something, we saw this during COVID when we saw a lot of businesses that crumbled, unfortunately, due to the shutdown and whatnot. But in general, if you're not changing, if you're not adapting, if you're not innovating, someone is going to pass you up. And so small business owners, we've talked about this a lot. It is really incumbent upon small business owners to be successful for the sake of our country, right? That sounds like a kind of a hyperbole or a little superfluous, but it's really not. Our small businesses are really the engine behind the scenes that drive the success. The middle class is obviously shrinking, and things are not going well as far as the economy in a lot of areas. So our success is going to be the driving force that pulls us out of certain bad times, and it's also a way of insulating us as business owners from certain things that come down the pike. So let's start with innovation and creativity. Let's talk a little bit about that. I want to start with Blake because what you guys are doing is obviously very much innovative. You're seeing an issue, you're solving a problem. It's a creative approach. Talk a little bit about that from a high level standpoint, but then specifically how you guys are kind of doing that at the ground level.
Yeah. My experience in this space here would probably be is all in the home services industry. So I think like electricians, plumbers, tree services, landscaping, and that front. And what we see on the homeowner side and on these Facebook groups and in local communities, people continually ask their neighbors and continually look for referrals on wanting to know who their neighbors use and trust. And of course, we can all go to Google and search for painter near me. But ultimately, when it's one of your local neighbors that is recommending that business, then we believe on the consumer side, that's what's driving, behavior and the best candidate for that job in this industry. And this is kind of how we, were inspired to create StreetFair. And so on our app, you'll find that we don't allow businesses to pay for better placement. It's not this rat race of who's going to invest the most money into paying for Google SEO and Google placement and better placement, but rather who has done the most work in each individual community. And that's who we believe would deliver a more favorable experience to that homeowner looking for that service. And so this is kind of our innovative approach at creating a marketplace not built on who pays the most or who has the most Google reviews, but rather who is truly the most popular within each individual community.
Well, I like that because that's a creative approach in and of itself, because you see this all the time from the business owner standpoint. It's trying to figure out how to build reputation and credibility, but then on the consumer side, I don't know about you guys, but I get 1,000, and sometimes I'll do them myself occasionally, but 1,000 messages a month. Hey, who should I get for a plumber? Anybody know any good plumbers? And that's not a bad way to go about it, I guess, but it sounds like this, you had to think, okay, if I know exactly who my neighbors are using, and if I know the job that they did was really good, that's instant credibility. And you see this with some of these other list companies, right? They do it on a much larger scale, but it's hard to sift through all of the the thousands of companies. I want to know my neighbor Joe used this plumber and he's great. Okay, great. I'll use him too. And it sounds like that's kind of the base level that you're trying. That's extremely creative. I love that, and I want to hear more about that in just a moment. Joe, you it's really perfect that you're here. You actually won the Social Innovator of the Year award by United Way Dallas recently. So in the title, you're automatically innovative. So that's fantastic. Tell me about what that means specifically, the award itself, but also what led you to winning that? What innovation have you been a part of, and how did you come about that?
Yeah, great question. So being innovative is very important in a nonprofit space, right? So social innovation is about new ways to solve problems in our community. So when I enrolled into the program, Social Incubator with United Way, we had to really pitch our mission to a room full of investors to really present to them why our mission is important and why they should invest in us. So that is how I won the title Social Innovator of the Year, is by presenting what we do at Project Beauty. I don't know if you wanted me to go into specifically about what we do, but we really found a gap in the nonprofit space, specifically dealing with survivors of domestic violence and sex trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we do is that we provide restorative services such as tattoo removals and scar revisions for survivors who've been disfigured from past abuse. So it's not something that people want to talk about. We overlook that many times in the healing journey, but it's a much needed part of the healing journey. So Project Beauty stand as the beacon of providing that resources for survivors all over DFW.
I love that, and I like to definitely we'll hear a little bit more a deeper dive as we get into our segment after this. But it's interesting because you talk about businesses that are already in place, having to change and be creative to be competitive or to change with a shifting market.
Yeah.
But you're also kind of just noticing where there's a gap.
Yes.
And your innovation to kind of fill that gap, which is a blind spot, I guess, in certain ways.
Yep.
And so that's really neat. How and obviously coming from your story, it was an obvious gap that needed to be filled. So it just took the right person to do so. That's fantastic. Jax, for you in the mortgage space, there's a ton of mortgage folks, ton of real estate folks. How do you stay creative and innovative? How do you do things that are trendy, I guess, or ahead of the curve? I'm trying to use all the other buzzwords I can think of, but you understand what I'm asking.
Yeah, I do. And by the way, Blake, I love what you're doing specifically, because as somebody who has been going through a major home renovation on my own, man, it has been so freaking hard to figure out who the heck to use for all the different things and who's reliable, right? Because the reality is that becomes a huge challenge. In the mortgage space, we, for whatever reason, we're like in the dark ages. I always equate us to like the attorneys. We're always like the last to be the innovators typically. So I, a lot of times, have gone outside of my space to try to see what other people are doing outside of mortgage. And one of the things that I'm specifically working on is basically creating evergreen webinars. We've learned that, like, I'm huge on the education piece. I really love to dive in and help people understand, finances and things like that, and, really dig in. But the problem is that it's just not always convenient for people to be able to stop their day and stop what they're doing to be able to attend a webinar. So creating like these webinars, but making them evergreen, making them where they can be on demand. So if the only time you have to watch this information about how to, get a mortgage or something else in the financial space, and it's 2 a.m., then great. You can watch it at that point, right? You can get the information that you need and the resources that you need, because a lot of people don't think about that. We're just in such a busy world. You have the best intentions of showing up to the thing, and it just doesn't happen that way, right? It just doesn't work. So, but it's hard in my space because we have a lot of regulation. You understand that, Nathan, better than anybody. There's a lot of regulation that surrounds our space. So you got to be real careful about what you talk about and how you present it. Make sure you don't kind of get your rear in trouble, if you will. You're muted, Nathan.
Sorry. It's even more important in those spaces that are regulated to obviously be in compliance, but to think outside the box, because you're limited, your perspective is limited. One of the things that we talk about here at The Difference, and it's the Community Difference Business Development Alliance that's the driving force behind all of our community shows. And recommend you join your local Facebook community group through The Difference, but also go and join the Community Difference Business Development Alliance group. We'll be starting some lunch and learns and some networking opportunities to that larger group here over the next month or so that anybody will be invited to. But the goal of that is, and when we do our internal lunch and learns, we are constantly looking for areas to become more what we would consider a deeper level entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs or business owners that can see opportunities that no one else can see. And so we really, in person collaborate on finding areas where we can work together, where, one industry can work with another industry that doesn't really look like they would work well together for whatever reason. So we're doing that in person, and so that's a huge part of what we're doing outside of the live podcast as far as our business development platform. But I say that to say it's super important to constantly be, and Jim Thomas will talk about this. He was on last week. I think he'll be on this coming. He's a periodic guest that we have on, one of our fill-in co-hosts, if you will. And he's always talking about, the need to think about, where you're going, getting the right help, right? And if you're struggling with creativity, innovation, the first place is to seek someone smarter than you, right? To ask the right questions. And number one, you've got to want to change. Okay. So if you're lagging in sales, you're lagging in your cost per acquisition is high, or you're just noticing some fall off in certain areas of your business, it probably is time to look at some sort of innovation or some sort of creative measure to change those things. And we don't have to have all the answers, right? We just have to know the right people. And so having a group of people together like this, what we're doing live, but also in our networking groups and our lunch and learns, is key to finding the person that's going to help you see the opportunities that that maybe you're missing. And truthfully, it's true. Lyndon just threw this up in the background here. If you pay close attention to your customers and your clients, they will tell you where you need to be more innovative. And then that'll be dependent on if you're, Joe, you're a perfect example. There was a blind spot in terms of a ministry and a nonprofit that was needed for a sector of our populace that was really hurting. And you filled that, and now all of a sudden, obviously, you're being recognized for that. That's not the reason you did it, but you're obviously doing it well, which is really important. Steve, let's go to you. You've been in the ticket business for 35 years. Tickets aren't going away, right? There's always events. But how do you stay? Because there's a lot of ticketing companies out there. How do you stay, ahead of the curve? How do you stand out? How do you say, we do something different than this kind? What do you use to be innovative and creative?
Well, I was actually to go back several years, and obviously we had to reinvent ourselves a few different times over that period, because ticketing was a very, very different thing back 30 or even 20 or even 10 years ago. What my business partner and I actually saw a need in our industry, and we formed a software company called Ticket Evolution back in 2010. I didn't know crap about software, but you got to get people around you that do, and totally separate from Golden Tickets. Was not part of Golden Tickets, but anyway, it evolved, and it's still a viable marketplace. I'm no longer the chairman or owner of it at all, but it's still a very viable way to do business in our industry. The funny thing currently, believe it or not, of course, when pandemic came along, I was out of business. I was on unemployment, as my 10 other employees, including my wife. Nobody could go to a sporting event. We had no way to make money. I mean, it was, we didn't know we were going to survive. But the good news from that is we learned how to automate ourselves and how to do processing of what we do, because obviously we were doing and still do tickets to events all over the world. So we came back a faster, meaner, tighter machine. Believe it or not, we're doing way better now than we did before the pandemic, because we learned how to do everything way differently. I didn't need 12 people. Now we can do it with 5 with a lot of automation. The other part of it is we are still called Golden Tickets, but there's no such thing as a ticket. It's all on smartphones. We've had to convince a lot of customers that, they're waiting for me to FedEx them the ticket. No, it's your email address on your phone. One of my wife's biggest clients was an old-time car dealer. He had a flip phone. Well, then you ain't going to no concert, because a flip phone is not going to grab you that ticket from your email address. So the owner of that multi-car dealership place his son had to go get him a smartphone so he could go to concerts. So our industry has evolved, but so we had to also.
Just tell them you're going to fax it to them.
Yeah.
That'll be
right. Exactly.
I know my industry still uses faxes. Again, that'll give you some indication
Yeah.
of how dark age the mortgage industry is. Like I legitimately have to still have a fax. It's e-fax, but it's still a fax. I'm like, why? Why are we still doing this? This is 2024. Oh my God.
I did want to comment on Blake's stuff and I'm not going to name any names of any entities, but when I see commercials 15 times every 30 minutes for a big plumbing outfit or a big electrical outfit, I don't know if they're any good or not, but I know they're not going to be very cheap, because if they're able to afford commercials nonstop 24/7, I don't think I need to talk to those people to get any kind of reasonable deal. Just my opinion.
I like that.
Frankly, I agree with you, Steve. I agree.
No argument from Blake. Guys, we're gonna hit a break here. When we go back, we'll dive in deeply with Steve, Blake, and Joe. Stick around right here on the Community Difference Plano. We will be right back.
At the Community Difference Business Development Alliance, powered by the Difference Media LLC, our mission is to empower small business owners by transcending acceptable behaviors and outcomes into exceptional realms. We foster a culture of self-awareness, accountability, and proactive engagement, guiding individuals to recognize and overcome indifference towards transformative actions, habits, behaviors, and processes driving meaningful change. Through strategic networking, impactful content creation, and innovative top-of-mind strategies, we cultivate brand relevance and differentiation, enabling our partners and the Difference community to stand out in crowded markets. With a focus on building authentic connections, amplifying brand presence, and driving sustainable growth, we equip entrepreneurs with the tools and mindset to navigate the complexities of entrepreneurship with confidence, innovation, and resilience. Together, we aim to be the catalyst for difference makers, propelling them towards their highest potential and leaving a lasting impact on their businesses and communities. That's where our community podcasts come in. These podcasts lie directly at the intersection of innovative business development and community involvement, helping to bridge the gap between small business obscurity often seen in our communities. The community-based podcasts called the Community Difference Series are an integral part of integrating all facets of modern business development into a package of great content, positive impact branding, and top-of-mind presence, thus fulfilling the greater mission we set forth. When we set out to be difference makers, we can learn to make a difference and find the success and impact innately desired by all business owners and entrepreneurs. We are difference makers.
Alrighty. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show. Let's jump in with our guest this morning. No, it's not morning. I always forget that we go from morning to afternoon in the middle of the show. We'll jump back in here. Let's start with you, Blake. You talked about the creative need that you filled or are filling, but what drew you to the Plano community? You grew up in Kansas City. You were living last in Charlotte, North Carolina. You started the company StreetFair there. Why Plano? Why the DFW area?
Great question. Yes, it was about 2 years ago. We started in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, and I moved here to expand the platform. And the Plano area has this explosion of suburban communities that are defined neighborhoods, and they typically like HOAs. And it's not just in Plano, but of course, Plano, Frisco, Allen, and this whole like North Texas area. And that's where StreetFair has thrived the best. And if you think about these set communities, and so that's really after a vast amount of like market research across the country, this is where we believe StreetFair will thrive best next.
There are a lot of individually named communities. I think of Deerfield, which is like my favorite Christmas light area.
Exactly.
In the Christmas season.
Plano classic HOA.
That's right. That's right. I did not know that my neighborhood had a name until I got on your app I noticed that I needed to add my neighborhood in there, and I'm like looking on the map. I'm like, oh, it's called the Meadows. Okay, great. Not a single meadow in the neighborhood, but that's what they called it. So,
Yes.
So I'm
wishful thinking, Nathan. They
That's
wish
right.
that there was meadows. They
I'm
wish.
sure there was a meadow. I mean, they're older homes, so maybe there was a meadow at one point.
There once was a meadow. There once was a meadow.
Sounds like a children's book. But so as you add your neighborhood, because there's obviously going to be a lot of neighborhoods being added in this area because it's new to the region. But I think that's going to be something really exciting. I'm already thinking of some people that I want to connect you with that I think will help their businesses. Let's go to you, Joe. You obviously you have if you want to go into a little more detail about your story, obviously whatever you want to share, that's obviously the why that's driving you to do what you do. But real quickly, just start with how did you end up in the Plano community, and then if you'll just share a little bit more about your story, whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah, well, originally I'm from Hong Kong. I immigrated to the United States when I was 14. So English is actually my second language. So you can't tell, but you can tell if you talk to me at night, like late at night. Yeah, my story started when, as a young kid, I went through a lot of abuse. I came from a very abusive home, and which led me to more dysfunctional relationships, right? When you don't have an upbringing that is healthy and functional, you tend to go after dysfunctional relationships. So I experienced further abuse from my relationship later on in my life. So I had to escape that and go to a shelter in Arlington, actually. And when I was living in a shelter, I experienced a lot of different things, but I saw that there was a gap, not really having any beauty services or any self-care products for women and children that lived in those spaces, despite the fact that those individuals had to rebuild their life, right? They had to go on job interviews. They had to present themselves with confidence at these job interviews. So obviously at that time, I was really young. I was like 18. And so that always stuck with me. That, how do I help these women at some point? So fast forward, we're in 2018. I'm living in Plano with my family, and I'm married with children. And honestly, I started getting involved in the community work, right? Plano is a great city with lots of nonprofit work. And I knew about Hope Store, a New Beginning Center in Plano, and I was volunteering with them for a while. And shortly after that, I just felt like this is the time. I had to start this organization to help more women. So honestly, I did not have any nonprofit experience. I just had a heart to serve. And now 5 years later, here we are serving 11 different shelters across DFW and serving over 10,000 survivors since inception.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
As you're talking, I'm thinking of like 14 people, not 14, but like 3 or 4 that I want to connect you with.
Yeah.
That have either the same story or the same passion that you do, or maybe already doing that in different arenas, but maybe some synergy there. So let's talk afterwards. Yes,
for sure.
Steve, for you, I know you played sports. You talked a little bit about your background as a hockey player. You said for 50 years. That's pretty amazing. What drew you to the Plano community and got you in? I guess the sports element got you into the ticket side of things. But one, what drew you to Plano, and then anything else you haven't shared about how you decided to land where you landed?
Actually, I'm from upstate New York, and went to college at the top of New York State in the engineering school, and I got recruited by a Fortune 500 company, and they gave me Long Island, Dallas, Roanoke, or San Francisco. And I'd never been really to most any of those places. Well, my dad happened to have been stationed in Wichita Falls with B-52s during the Korean War. And he said, Texas looks nice. And I said, okay, I'll go there. And so I worked for that company for 15 years. When I first moved here, I was in Dallas because I had to be down at all those singles apartment complexes so everybody could play water volleyball against each other. And so my first house was a Fox and Jacobs here in Plano, which I think it was $54,000, and I think it's now worth $400,000 or something crazy. But I've been in Plano since '79, and 3 different houses. I'm not moving again. My wife does not want to do that again. But we really have always enjoyed Plano, and what I've told people in other places that when I moved here, it was like 25,000 people. We now have 300,000 people, but I still know the mayor is a personal friend of mine. I know the chief of police is a personal friend of mine. And I can't go really anywhere in town without running into people I know. So it's still a very dynamic community with the small town feel, even at the size that it is. So I love Plano, always have.
Well, now, Steve, you could, for about $54,000, you could get one of those Home Depot tool sheds. So that's about.
I was going to say, live in the back of somebody's house. That'd be about it.
Yeah.
Jacqueline can get you a 30-year mortgage on one of those tool sheds if you're in the market.
But I will add an Eclipse thing, but it wasn't a good one. We had our refrigerator go out a couple months ago at my lake house up at Lake Texoma, which I also love up there. And anyway, they were delivering it on Monday. So I had to go up Sunday and wait for them to deliver it early Monday morning. And two things. They unpacked the new refrigerator with a big dent in the front. So goodbye refrigerator. And we did not get even barely a partial eclipse because we were out of that band. So it got a little darker like a big cloud. But all my friends and family down here saw it all go dark with streetlights on. So I obviously missed it. So I'm not going to buy an Eclipse shirt.
So, well, that's okay. If you live to be 275, you'll be able to see another one.
Perfect.
in this area. So that's awesome. So let's talk about this. Traci, we'll go to you because I know your story is driven by experience in a lot of ways. Your why obviously is very personal of what you do. But what would you say is the most rewarding aspect of your work in terms of the assisted living and just helping people find the right place for their loved ones to get the right kind of care that they need?
Yeah, there's a lot of rewards. One little minute thing that I would never have thought about is how many more Christmas cards I get every year from families no one else in our family knows. My son Tyler will pick up the card and go, "Who is this?" So that was kind of a neat thing. So if you make someone's Christmas card list, you got to be making them feel good somewhere, right? So yeah, and getting back in touch with the families after that, and going through maybe a next level of care and being able to be there for them. But I'm very hands-on, and I get in with the families. I kind of become part of the family and the buffer between adult children and the seniors, and then everybody loves me because I'm bringing them all together. So there's a lot of warm fuzzies in what I do.
I believe it.
Traci, what's a little known fact about you that our listeners would find interesting?
I don't know if they'll find it interesting, but they'll probably laugh, is that I am, and yes, I'm going to say it wrong, but I am an Oakland Raider fan, diehard Oakland Raider fan. They just happen to be playing football in Las Vegas now.
Lennon, you can go ahead and remove Traci from the show, if you would.
And he's like,
Hey, I'm not gonna remove her because she still calls them the Oakland Raiders, and I'm right there with her.
That's fair. That's fair. You like the nostalgia. I can appreciate that. Blake, same thing to you. What's a little known fact about you that people would find interesting?
Little known fact about me is that I can properly fold a fitted sheet.
that is a skill.
That
right there, everybody.
is amazing.
Sunday afternoon, you can come over. I'll do all the sheets for you.
What's that? Oh gosh, what's that? What was that show on Netflix? Marie Kondo. Is that what it was? The lady that shows you how to like consolidate and organize all your stuff.
Downsize, yeah.
Yes, I think she had a episode on that. I was wondering if that's where you learned it, or can you just give us the quick overview on how to do that? Because I'd love to know.
Yeah, I absolutely watched YouTube videos, and it took a few times practicing, of course, but I have hosted and multiple Airbnbs or short-term vacation rentals in the past, and at one point in time I was doing part of the flipping and cleaning, and so naturally you've got to stay organized. So that's kind of how you develop that skill.
What's the key? Can you verbally walk us through it? I'm really dying to know this.
You put all the corners inside of each other, and then you fold it into thirds.
Put all the corners inside of each other, and then you fold it to thirds. Okay.
Yeah.
I want a video on you while you're
doing this. Yeah. I'm gonna have to look this up.
Right. It's the secret. It's magic.
Maybe Blake will share. He'll just post in the comments of the show a video of him folding a fitted sheet.
We'll do a little.
That would be amazing. That would be incredible. Steve, something about you that is little known. You've shared a lot already, but that our listeners would find very interesting.
Well, I do know of people that I meet, not people I've known forever, but both Traci and I each have special needs son, and we both have coached a lot of sports over the last 20 years on behalf of our son and all the rest of the community, the special needs community. So that's been, like she said, we've had a lot of rewarding moments over the years, sometimes coaching a good team and sometimes coaching a horrible team, but that didn't matter. And very rewarding. And obviously people that have known me real well know that obviously Traci with her family and myself with my family coaching sports. Actually, both our sons were on the same basketball team, and we both got brutally tortured because I was the coach. Anyway, that's a fun one anyway.
That's awesome. Jax, to you, then we're going to go to break. Jackson, Joe.
So my mom is 100% German, as is my husband. They're both 100% German. And so we love to cook lots of German food. And it's not something that very many people have even eaten. So I've introduced a lot of people into German food. If we have, of course, have a great Bavarian restaurant in Plano called Bavarian Grill, but you'd be surprised how many times I meet somebody and they're like, German food, what's that? And I'm like, okay, you're coming over to my house and I'm cooking you some good German food.
That sounds amazing. I think I'm actually going to that place tomorrow. I think that's where we're meeting Michelle tomorrow at that place.
It's so good. And it's actually it's really authentic, like as far as like all the different things that they do. And if you guys are wondering, the Germans know how to cook potatoes about 9,000 different ways.
Wow.
Well, if you didn't know Jorgen's restaurant, the restaurant you're talking about, because I know them, when he was at their old location, they won best German restaurant in the country 3 times.
No, if you're talking about Jorg's, he is Austrian, and you better not call him German or he will 100% correct you because that's Austrian. It's very similar to German food, but if you call him German, he will be like very mad at you.
Yeah, that's Jorgen, but I was talking about Jorg. They both have similar names, but Bavarian Grill won the best German restaurant 3 times nationally.
Wow.
The funny part is he's actually not even from Bavaria. He's from a different part of Germany, but it's called Bavarian Grill.
I definitely have to go there. Joe, real quick, then we'll go to break.
Yeah, I'm actually going to Bavarian Grill next week for a meeting. That's hilarious.
We should just all go. Let's just all go.
A funny fact, I guess, that no one knows is that I used to race street motorcycles. So there you go.
Hey, you and Steve can get together and ride. That's fantastic. That's awesome.
I race Corvettes.
There you go. That's awesome. Well, hey, guys, we're going to take our last break. When we get back, we'll do a rapid-fire roundtable. Then we'll do our final thoughts. So stick around. We'll be right back for the final segment of the Community Difference Plano.
The Community Difference Plano is made possible by Nathan Smith with Enfuego Financial, Diane Castle with Castle to Castle, connecting charities to fundraising solutions, Jim Thomas, business consultant and business funding expert, Brenda Thompson with Home Smart Stars, Sonia Lowry with Gaston Investments and Development, Traci Duff with Assisted Living Locators, Asiya Mahmood with Windhaven Academy, Lauren Gill with My Live Love Travel, and by Jacqueline Crider with PBJ Mortgage. The Community Difference Plano. Together, we can make the difference. And now, back to the show.
Are you ready?
Rapid fire.
All right, rapid fire question. We're going to try to get through 4. So remember, the key here is just the answer, no explanation, just the answer. All these, I don't think, if we have time, we'll go back and get an explanation. So we're going to start with this. First thing in the morning. What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? Joe.
I give gratitude.
Love it. I want to change my answer now. Steve. What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning?
Who'd you ask?
Steve.
Oh, me. Oh, I didn't hear my name.
That's okay.
I go to the front yard, I get the newspaper, and come back to my bar room and have a Red Bull.
Love it. Jax.
I am horrible. I check my email.
Okay. Tracy.
I take the puppy out to pee.
Okay. Not as inspiring as I'd hoped, but that's okay.
I know. I'm sorry.
Blake.
I put Wordle on the New York Times Games app.
Okay. I like that. For me, it's going to start the coffee without fail every morning. Okay, let's take it to the other end of the day. What's your favorite thing to do to unwind after a long day? For me, it's a nice glass of whiskey and a book. Joe.
I'm going to give the boring answer. I journal and do a meditation.
That's not boring. You're just making us all look bad, but it's not boring.
I was gonna say, yeah, like her answers are like so like, oh, I'm so great at enlightenment, and all of us are like, yeah, we were drinking and reading some books, or drinking a Red Bull.
Yeah. Okay, Steve, try and top that one. If you
what I'll do is have a couple of Bud Lights, watch the news, and go to bed because it's too pointless to stay up after that.
Okay, that's fair. That's less inspiring than Joe's for sure. Jax.
For me, I am a pretty big reader, so I'm usually reading and taking notes, something like that, to try to shut my brain down.
Okay, Tracy.
I do a somewhat of a journaling. I do a dump list where I just dump the day out on a list, and then yoga, stretching. That's
okay. Okay. Blake.
I go to the gym every day at 5:30, and that's where you really saw after an intense workout that does it for me.
Okay, I need to add, this is a bonus question. Where do you work out usually?
Pantera CrossFit.
Pantera CrossFit. Okay.
Now you know where to find me.
There you go.
5:30.
You can ask. You can,
right there in Plano. Great community.
He loves to field StreetFair questions during his workout. So if you have any, you want to find him there.
Oh, absolutely.
Exercising, answering questions.
Everyone loves to have people talk to them while they're working out. It's totally a normal thing.
My exercise is walking the dogs before we all go to bed because I have
That's good.
golden retrievers.
That's fair. That's an extra. Jax, you mentioned books. What's the last book that you read that you couldn't put down?
Who, Not How.
Okay. Steve.
I read the newspaper. Anything else, I'll wait till the movie comes out.
Joe.
Like if it's good enough to them to make, it's a good enough book and they'll make a movie about it. It's fine.
What was the question?
What's the last book you read you couldn't put down?
Oh, Eat That Frog.
Eat That Frog.
Is
one. That about
really
doing all the hard stuff first
Yes.
in the morning that you don't want to do? Okay, yes. Somebody else
you're gonna avoid.
Great.
Yes. Yeah. Tracy.
Strength to Strength, Arthur Brooks.
Strength to Strength. Blake.
The Lean Startup.
That's very appropriate as you're starting a business. I see that. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, lastly, if you could travel anywhere in the world right now, where would you go? One place. Joe, looks like you're pondering, so we'll come back to you. Let's go with Tracy.
I'd go to the Greek Isles.
Love it. For me, I'm going to Italy, just all of it. Jax?
That is such a hard question. I probably have to say South America because I've been wanting to go for a while. So
Okay.
we go and then COVID hit.
Yeah, well, now you can go. Steve?
It's a two-parter.
Okay.
A couple of months ago, or a few months ago, my wife and I went to Turks and Caicos because we love the beachy stuff. We loved it. It was an outstanding place. But where we've been dying to go since my second son was born is to go to Wales and Ireland because my wife is born on St. Paddy's Day, 100% Irish, and I'm Welsh.
I love it.
We haven't got there yet.
We'll take pictures when you go. Joe?
Bora Bora.
Ooh. All your answers are so much better than ours. I'm just really getting
They did
Gratitude.
Don't go on the show anymore. She just made
gratitude, meditation, Bora Bora.
Can I just add one thing that I do before I go to bed? I yell at my son. then I go to my room and journal and meditate. Okay?
There you go. She looked at the real part.
Okay, so she's not perfect. We just realized this. She does have flaws. Okay, good. That makes me feel better. Blake, where are you going in the world?
I'm going to say New Zealand.
Oh, that's a great answer. That's a great answer.
Cool.
I love
A
that.
lot of extreme sports there. My dad's been. It's a really cool place.
Yeah, adventure, camping, everything.
Yeah.
Traci, what was the name of that book you said?
Strength to Strength by Arthur Brooks. It's really cool. It goes from how when we're young and we're innovative and we're creative and all of that part of our life, then there's the other part of our life that isn't quite so fluid and all of that. And it's getting to this second part of our life that I'm in with strength. So taking your strengths from there and still having strength and perceiving life in our second round the right way, not the way we were when we were young.
I love it. I love it. Well, guys, thank you so much for being on the show. Let's start with our wrap-up roundtable here. We'll start with Blake. Just give us some final thoughts, 30 seconds. And again, thank you so much for being on today.
I appreciate the opportunity so much, Nathan, and thank you all very much for having us on. I just encourage anyone listening, whether you're a business owner or a resident, of course, in the Plano, Frisco, Allen area, download the StreetFair app store or Google Play Store, or go to streetfair.com. It's totally free. Also free for businesses to be listed on there. We're doing something different, and I encourage you to check it out. Or reach out to me directly. It's Blake at streetfair.com.
I got it right here. It's super simple.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
It's designed to be that way. So thank you.
Very good. Joe, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. So to support our mission, if you want to volunteer, donate, if you're a business and you want to collaborate with us, sponsor us for an event, go to our website, theprojectbeauty.org. I would love to connect with you. Help us empower more survivors in the DFW area and beyond.
That's awesome. I definitely want to, I'll be reaching out to you. I definitely want to connect offline and see if we can find some good partners to connect you with as well. Steve, pleasure meeting you. Steve, give us some final thoughts.
Like I said, I've very much thrilled with Plano all the years I've lived here, and I did not know this one until Traci reached out to me, and I'm very impressed, and I think it's really cool because I think people need to know all the different people and virtues that this community and surrounding area is in existence that you don't hear about. That's why I love that compact newspaper, Impact. That is really, really cool.
We just got that one at the house the other day.
Good to hear, because basically what you're saying is for people not to call Angie's List.
Yes, essentially. That's the goal.
But I thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Our pleasure. And you can are y'all an app version, also just the website, if you're looking for tickets?
Golden Tickets.
Yeah, it's just goldentickets.com.
Perfect.
But there is an app to lead you right virtual site. Yes.
Okay. Very cool. Jax, final thoughts.
Well, I think it was a great show today, and thanks for everybody, for being a part. Definitely, if there's anything on the financial side that we can ever help you do, myself and my team, we are always here to just help people. A lot of times it's just mortgage is just confusing, and so you're thinking, I don't want to ask the questions. I promise we don't bite. We're really a fun, playful space. I mean, we got mascots, peanut butter and jelly. They're dachshund sisters. So, I mean, can you get any better than that? But yeah, and come be a part of the community difference, guys. Like, we do all kinds of fun things, and we do giveaways, and we're trying to help grow businesses. So the more you can be involved, the more you're going to get out of it. And
we also don't, the rest of us don't bite either. Yeah. We're also all very friendly. Yeah. Traci?
Yeah, well, thank you to our guests for being on. This was a lot of fun, and I love learning all the new things and new people stuff. And if anybody out there has any curiosity into senior care and senior living, that can be quite overwhelming in an emotional time. It's always best to get ahead of the crisis. So I've got a vast list of resources. I'm a no-cost guide into senior living and care. So Traci Duff Traci D at assistedlivinglocators.com. Or you can go to my landing page, Traci Duff, Assisted Living Locators, and you will find me.
Awesome. Guys, thank you so much. What a great show we had today. Thank you to Blake, Joe, and Steve, our wonderful co-hosts, Jackson, Tracy, as always. Join the Community Difference Plano Facebook group and the Community Difference Business Development Alliance Facebook group. We would love to connect with you. That is our time for today. We will see you back here at 11:30 next week with a whole new slot of amazing guests and co-hosts. We'll continue our topic of the month. But I'm Nathan Smith with the Enfuego Group signing off today. You guys have a blessed week, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you for watching today's show.
The Community Difference Plano is made possible by Nathan Smith with Enfuego Financial, Diane Castle with Castle to Castle, connecting charities to fundraising solutions, Jim Thomas, business consultant and business funding expert, Brenda Thompson with Home Smart Stars, Sonia Lowry with Gaston Investments and Development, Traci Duff with Assisted Living Locators, Asiya Mahmood with Windhaven Academy, Lauren Gill with My Live Love Travel, and by Jacqueline Crider with PBJ Mortgage. The Community Difference Plano. Together, we can make the difference.